So find yourself in an easy pose to start. About the only easy thing I can see on this morning. As I say, question why yoga this morning, we've just, the answer I've come up with is to find strength. Though when I wrote it, I put to be strong, but to find strength within us. So strength can be physical, obviously, and unfortunately, that's associated often with our core, which we'll have to find this morning. It's associated with certain muscles in your body, always, isn't it? It's your six pack or your core or your biceps. But so it'll be interesting physically to go through this and see what parts of our body actually we do need for strength in poses that we're doing. There's nothing over the top, by the way, before anybody panics. And also doing that, we need to find our warrior self, our inner strength to kind of continue on with what we're doing. So we're going to start with, we'll start with 2 breath practices quickly. It's an alternative nostril breathing, and then we'll move it into Surya Badana, but I'll stop in between so we can swap over. So alternative nostril is just to try and balance a little bit before we go. So using our mudra, a Vishnu mudra, either fingertips, 2 fingers on your forehead, or curled in if you're more comfortable. Thumb is for your right nostril, ring finger for your left nostril. That's if you're right-handed. I think it's it's the opposite if you're left-handed. So find the position. If you need to hold your elbow, if your hand gets heavy at any of this, then please do so. Just find your breath first of all while you sit. Find your posture first of all, because it's really important to find that length in your spine so that you've got an openness to receive the breath. Start to slow the breath down to a nice slow count of about 4, in and out. Both times it's through your nostrils that we're using in this breath practice. They're not available, though use your mouth. Okay, so when you're ready, we're going to close off the left nostril and breathe in through your right nostril for a nice long slow breath, and then close off the right nostril, with your thumb, and breathe out through your left nostril. And then when you're ready, breathe in through your left and out through your right. So that's the cycle. It's in right, out left, in left, out right. So just going back between the two. Nice slow breaths, nice long breaths. Taking the breath right down through to your tummy if you can as you do this, and then drawing up from your base as you exhale. Just getting into a little bit of a rhythm with alternative nostrils. So we're finding a balance here. To be strong, it's better to be balanced at the same time. If you're using strength through being too hot or aggressive, then you'll burn it out. To keep your strength within you, you need to find a balance in it. Just take a few more breaths, balancing out this morning here. Through your left and right side of your brain at the same time. So we spoke that muscles are used in our body in strength work, but a lot of it has to come from maybe your brain, which is telling your muscles what to do, because your brain's an organ, not a muscle, but also from that inner self, that inner warrior self, if you want to think of it that way. Something keeps you going, whether it's in physical strength work here or in against something that's a challenge outside in life. So now having balanced with that breath, finishing on your out right breath, exhale right, and let go of the breath just for a second, and then we're going to change this one up to Surya Badana, the sun piercing breath, which again, it's the same mudra, it's the same right and left for your thumb and your ring finger, but we're breathing in this time through our right nostril and then out through both. So when you're ready and your breath's nice and slow again, inhale through your right with your left nostril closed, And then let go of the left nostril and just breathe out through both nostrils. Again, close off the left, inhale through the right. And exhale through both. Now, if your right nostril's closed up, then do this cyclically. Don't close off the left nostril. So it's in through the right every time, out through both every time. So this is working on your Pingala Nadi side, your sun side of your body, the hot side, the energetic side, the active side. So this is energizing us a little bit so that we start to feel a little bit stronger and ready to do some stronger poses. Just take another few breaths in through your right, out through both. Thinking here of some deep core muscles that we're activating. If you start to breathe out a little bit deeper, particularly, but using it in your in-breath too, your transversus abdominis are your deepest core muscles. They're your strongest core muscles. They're the ones that kind of wrap round really deeply inside you, and they are like a deep back brace. They strength in core work comes from this set of muscles, particularly in your core, not your six pack. So these deep muscles, just continuing with that breath or going back to normal breath if you've had enough of that one. These deep muscles work with your pelvic floor to add strength. So when you're doing this, it's all part of your diaphragmatic breathing. Inhaling, feel your diaphragm moving, and as it does, it pushes down through your organs and through to your pelvic floor. As you exhale on any of these breaths, drawing up from the pelvic floor through your abdominal muscles and through the diaphragm to exhale. So just do a couple more. If you've given up in the mudra, just breathe in through your nostril, but work down through your diaphragm till your tummy feels extended and there's a pressure on your pelvic floor. Inhaling that way, exhaling, you're drawing up from the pelvic floor, thinking of moving through all those muscles, drawing up through the diaphragm and expelling the breath from your lungs. Just take a few more, working and thinking of those deep core muscles that have to get very involved here to breathe well and properly. You're using the strength of that connection through from your pelvic area right up through to your diaphragm. Okay, so then letting go of the breath. We should be breathed up there, ready. We're going to come off our sitting, anything you're sitting on, if you are, might be, and then find yourself in tabletop. Which way am I going? I'm going to go this way today. So in tabletop, prepare yourself ready for cat-cow. Can anybody remember what cat was from the other day, the other word for cat? If you can't, it's Marjorie, remember. So take a Marjorie, and we're breathing in a neutral spine and exhaling in and up through into cat, Marjorie Asana. And then rolling through in the next inhale into cow. So take a few more of those, just thinking here of where you're moving from, where your strength's coming from in this movement. Sometimes strength is from the part of us that is staying still, not from the part of us that's moving. So here your strength is physically coming through your wrists and your knees. They're the parts of you holding so that the rest of you can be flexible. It's that Sthira Sukha thing in yoga that we have where you have to have stability to have that mobility. You have to have strength to have flexibility. And that's not just physically, remember. To be flexible, you have to be quite strong sometimes, or you get blown over by things. Okay, and then moving into dynamic cat-cow, sitting back, rolling through, just getting the spine moving, getting those abdominal muscles moving, getting your core moving. Your core remembers from your sit bones right up through, or your pelvic floor actually, right up through to your neck, basically, at the top of your shoulders. So all of that is your core, front and back and side bodies. All of it is your core. All those muscles have to work together here to let the other muscles move, to help the strength so that they can move. Okay, so then come back to neutral. We're going to take our right hand ahead of us and the left hand behind us. Have a little bit of a stretch there. Coming up onto the ball of the foot if you can and stretching through the sole of that foot at the back. And then drawing that one back in. Take another one of those same side, just draw back out again. And hold for a couple of breaths. Notice where your strength is here in this pose. So draw your tummy up to support your back from sinking. Roll through the foot and really stretch out the back of that leg. Press gently down into your hand that's on the floor in front. Well, both hands actually. And then draw back in. Same thing on the other side. So have a stretch first of all, bring it back and then go back out and hold. So onto the ball of the foot, open up that plantar fascia area on the bottom of the foot and round the Achilles heel, which is very topical with me at the moment. Coming back in, going back out again. Holding, breathing, lifting, using those transverse abdominis to lift your body up towards your spine. And then bringing your hand back in. Option here is to do that again or to lift with me. So we're taking the hand and the leg out. We're flexing the back foot and on your in-breath, we're lifting both upwards and then lowering. So take 2 or 3 of those, inhaling as you lift, exhaling as you lower. Notice where the strength is. Notice where the wobbles are. Can you put a little bit more strength into where the wobbles are? It might be your wrist, it might be your knee, it might be your elbow, your shoulder. Think of where you can find some strength so that you almost don't then notice that you're moving on the other side. And then come back and take it on the other side. So your left hand forward, right hand back, if you're the same as me, and the lifts again. So thinking now of the strength is in the wrists and the knee, so press gently into both of them. And then think of those core muscles again and think of the transverse abdominis and draw them back up. Keep that tummy engaged. Support your lower back here. Squeeze the glute to lift. Draw back through that upper shoulder to lift the arm. Lots of muscles getting involved here, just in these small movements. Come back down. If anybody needs to sit back and have a little shake through the wrists at any point here, because it is quite strong in the wrist, this one. So then we're going to, or sit back in child's pose if you want a break. And then we're going to stretch out again when you're ready. Same thing, right hand forward, left foot back. And then lift again on the inhale. Hold here for a second. Now a little tip here is to remember that inner elbow of the hand that's on the floor. Roll it round so the inner elbow faces forward. And you'll find you've got a lot more strength in those 2 bones there. And then bring that hand down, foot in, take the other side again. Have a look at that inner elbow, see what happens when you rotate it. You get much more strength through your lower 2 bones there if they're slightly on a twist. And then come back down. We're going to take this and move diagonally now. If you need a break on your wrist, please take it. Don't damage yourself by going through too much. Okay, so lifting on the inhale, exhale at the top. As you inhale now, take your right arm out and your left leg out into a diagonal. And then exhale them back to centre. So we're taking 2 or 3 of those. Now as you do this, I can feel myself wobbling a bit. So I'm thinking inner elbow, I'm thinking transverse abdominis, I'm thinking length through from fingertip to toes, thinking of using my glutes to lift that back leg a little bit more, and I'm thinking of my breath. Hands down. Again, rest if you need to, rotate the wrists, have a little shake out, otherwise go on the other side. So before we lift this time, lift up your tummy, lift up those muscles towards your backbone. Then inhale and lift the arm and leg. Exhale there in neutral. Inhale, take the leg and arm out. Try and keep them at the same height if you can. So really engage the lower back muscles and the glutes to hold the leg up. It's very heavy. So you're holding from the glute and from that spot of the crease below your glute. The arm, same thing. Think of the shoulder rather than the rest of the arm holding you up here. Engage your upper back. And then bring the hand down. Sit back into child's pose. Onto your elbows and just keep your head up and have a little bit of a wrist rotation or shake out. So it's surprising. My wrists used to be so weak. They do have weekdays still, but surprising how much muscle memory comes into stuff when you do strength work, repetitive strength work. There's a lot of that goes on in physical gym classes nowadays. And the body builds that inner strength to do these to work on these exercises. The next time you do them, it will be easier. So the muscle builds up, obviously. Okay, so now we're going to sit back in child's pose, and then we're going to move forward into cobra on our belly. So drawing ourselves forward, lifting up gently, and then lowering. Push back. So hands should be really probably more by your chest here. Push back into child's pose. Have a stretch out and extended child's pose. Inhaling, coming back forward again. Drawing yourself slowly down as you exhale to the floor. And rolling up into a baby cobra on your next inhale. Exhaling back down. I'm going a little bit quick here. Take it as slowly as you can. Pushing into the floor, drawing yourself back into child's pose. As you inhale, nice extension through your armpits to your hips there. Exhale there, inhale forward, drawing yourself close to the floor, lowering, using your tummy muscles to keep your back up. So we're down onto the floor, ready for cobra as we inhale. Maybe a little bit more of a cobra this time. Next cobra, we're going to stay there, so be prepared. Inhale, we're going back into child's pose first of all, though. Exhale there. Inhale, draw forwards. Exhale, slowly come down to the mat. Inhale, we're going to roll up into cobra and we're going to hold this time. So wherever you find yourself in cobra, it doesn't need to be full cobra up at the top. It can be baby cobra, it can be halfway up, wherever. But wherever you are, find some strength now. So if you need to adjust your hands or anything that doesn't feel you're completely stable, then do so. Engage your pelvis and really switch it on and move it down towards the floor. So switching on your glutes a little bit. But your legs should be able to be just shaken and lifted. And then opening up through the chest by drawing down through the back and lifting up into cobra. Breathing all the time. So find your breath, a couple of breaths. When you're ready, just lowering carefully back down to the floor. Pop your hands under your head and have a couple of breaths there. So resting in between strength work, either physical strength work or something that's stretching you just a bit too far in your daily life. A rest in between gives you that mental strength and physical strength, but the mental strength to continue. There's a saying from Mahatma Gandhi, I think it is. Strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. So a lot of the strength you have is more to do with your inner self than your outer self, if that makes sense. More to do with you mentally or spiritually than it is to do with physicality. So we're going to come up and do a little bit more. If anybody's wrists are proving a problem here, you can't come down onto your elbow in the next bit, in your elbows. Option here is to do more or less because we're not all the same. So take it at your own pace. Okay, so we're coming up now and finding half plank. So into a tabletop, but moving your knees a little bit further back or moving your hands a little bit further forward and your shoulders over your wrists again. So when we're in half plank, remember those abdominis, the transverse abdominis muscles, lift them up, tuck the tailbone down. So a little bit of a pelvic tilt there, just to switch on that area. So we're in half plank. Now this might be enough for you, and if your wrists are playing up, you can come down and come down onto your elbows and then go back up. That might be a choice that you want to do, is just to walk up and down onto your elbows. Other option is to take your hand forward, your leg back, but you're at a bit more of a precarious position now than we were in tabletop. And inhale the arm up, leg up, exhale them down. So two options there. For a little bit of strength work here is either this, which is stretching out, don't forget the tummy muscles, and then taking that on the other side, still in half plank, or you're going up and down in half plank and just walking up and down. If you notice, I'm not doing all of these. I will do them later. Okay, so once you've had enough of those and you're starting to flag and the bit in the middle starting to sink, bring yourself into wide leg child's pose maybe now, and sit back and head under, head on hands maybe. Let your shoulders open up by taking your elbows out, heads up on top of your hands folded underneath them, and just let yourself open. So feel that openness across your lower back. Let your belly sink just a little bit between your legs. Let go of the transverse abdominis and all the other muscles in there that you use. We've got over 600 muscles in our body. Each one has its own particular strength. But the strength comes really from them working together. If they work on their own, they're not very strong. If they work together, then they are. It's a form of chain strength, remember. So when you're finding something in you physically that's not feeling very strong, if you move up and down the chain from either side of it, you might can find something else, another muscle that can help. Okay, so coming now onto our elbows, everybody. And when you come up, maybe you start in half plank and just hold in half plank on your elbows. The other option here is to go into full plank and come up onto your balls of your toes and roll through the balls of your feet and take your heels backwards. And then lift those tummy muscles and tuck the tailbone down. Lift the head a little bit and breathe. So we're just staying here and breathing. I saw a 75-year-old lady the other day there who did this for 3 or 4 minutes. So we can manage 20 seconds, I'm quite sure. Just keep breathing, lifting on the in-breath a little bit more through the tummy muscles, softening through the heels and through the soles of the feet maybe on the exhale. Use your breath to work round your body. And then lower carefully and controlled down to the floor. Have a little rest if you need to. You might want to pop your head to the side and take your arms down the side of you. Just have a couple of breaths. There is more. So resting is something we all need to learn to do sometimes. We all go piling through things, thinking we can be strong forever. But particularly as we get older, maybe we're better at knowing that we need to rest and build that battery up again. Okay, so here we're going to come back up. You can come into child's tabletop again here if you want to, or you can come with me and come up to down dog. So you're either in tabletop or in down dog. If you're in tabletop, all we're doing is engaging those transverse abdominis again, lifting up through the tummy, and then lifting on your knees, on your feet, lift your knees off the floor an inch or two and go back down. So it's just inhale, lift, exhale, lower. If you're coming with me to tabletop, you're coming up into tabletop, stretching through, feet don't need to reach the floor, but nice big stretch, and then lowering back onto your knees. So breathing in as you lift into down dog and lowering as you come back onto your knees. So lifting, rolling through the feet, lowering, controlled. Use all the muscles in your feet and your hands to help you here. Use your core to control it. You can feel the heat now, hopefully. That Pingala Nadi switched on, definitely in me. Back down. Do take care with your shoulders as well as your wrists and these sort of things. Hence why, if you've got anything wrong with your shoulders, it's best to stay in tabletop here and move back into it now. If anything feels weak, move back down. Okay. Take a child's pose if you need to, and you want to have a little bit of a rest there. Otherwise, next option, and we're nearly there, folks, next option is tabletop. And then we're moving from tabletop into half plank. So that's one option. It's just to rock back and forwards, really. If you want to go a little bit stronger, we come up into down dog. For me, I have to move my feet here because I'm not quite the right length, but we're moving through then and coming down through chaturanga and into, or down to the floor, pushing up and back into tabletop. So no plank there, it's just down through. Chaturanga is a four-limbed pose, which you then control yourself to take yourself to the floor. And then inhale, pushing into the hands, using that hips to lift you up back into down dog. So as if somebody's got you by the hip flexors and they're lifting you back up. So move from the, not from your hands, to switching on the tummy and lifting up. And then coming back down, everybody. And sitting back into child's pose, have a little rest again. Lift your hands up, have a little shake through your wrists. Your wrists will probably be feeling this. And then bring yourself down onto the floor, onto your back. Last thing, we'll just do a couple of bridge rolls here, just to release off the front of our bodies a little bit, and then go into supported bridge or just Shavasana if you would rather. So in bridge position to start, so feet close to the bottom. Inhaling, pushing into the feet, that little pelvic tilt, remember. And low, opening up the front of the body as you raise up. Exhaling, using the transverse abdominis again to just lower the spine gently to the floor. So the whole of the core here has to switch on. It's not just those muscles. Take 2 or 3 of those, and then if you want to stay up, slip your brick under your hips. So just a gentle roll through, really nice slow roll through though, to just soften off all that tightness that we put through the front of our bodies, allowing the shoulders just to relax onto the floor now. Finding your brick if you want to come into supported bridge, or taking yourself down and into Shavasana just to finish. So whichever you'd rather finish in. If you go into supported bridge, it's quite nice because it does then allow that front of your body there to just open up with some support below it. There's nothing having to clench or tension to hold on here. There's no strength needed. The floor will take you, the brick will take you. But otherwise, we're using just the floor to support our whole body in Shavasana. And just breathing and resting. So going back to that question of strength, A couple of quotes here just for you to think about. One from Oprah Winfrey, which is, "Where there is no struggle, there is no strength." Have a think about that one for a second. And then another one from Theodore Roosevelt. "Courage is not having the strength to go on. It is going on when you don't have the strength." So that's a slightly different thought in courage rather than strength, but courage is not having the strength to go on. It's going on when you don't have the strength. And one that had no name against it, so I changed it very slightly. "Strength is the whisper in you that says, try one more time." So strength physically from our muscles, strength from our brain, which is telling our muscles what to do. But spiritual core strength is probably where your real strength comes from. And that comes from genes, from your ancestors, from life experience, from beliefs. It comes maybe from the outside and around you to within you. And sometimes it comes just from love. Spiritual core strength. We've all got a lot of that. We just need to sometimes work on it. Okay, when you're ready, if you're coming out of this into Sukhasana, please bring yourself up very slowly, take your time. If you're having another rest or a stretch out, maybe after those muscles have been used, please do so if you've got the time. We haven't here, but please do so if you have got the time to stretch and release. And just to finish, one last quote from J.R.R. Tolkien. "It is not the strength of the body that counts, but the strength of the spirit." So remember that. Doesn't matter if you've got no six-pack or your muscles feel a little bit weak, you have got strength within you. Thank you everybody for your practice and see you on Thursday. Namaste.